I wish men would stop thinking that all women are alike. We're not. When something is birthed in you and you cannot shake that thing, you cannot put it off, you cannot wish it away, you cannot feel it away. When it's there, it's there. When truth are in a woman to do what is right, and more importantly, when the calling of God is upon her life and she feels that she wants to carry God's work out that he has given to her in the best of her ability, she cannot just turn off her calling. I was born with a father who was stern in when it comes to respect for ourselves, dignity, when it comes to valuing ourselves. And so I grew up with that, regardless of what anyone else thinks. And so when God placed a calling on my life, I take that very seriously. And I do not want to be outside of God's will, his plan, or his purpose for me. Ministers may fall short, but when you are God's prophet, that's a whole different game for me. And so, yes, honesty, truth. The things that God expects of me is birthed in me by his spirit. And I cannot ignore that to give a man a husband benefits when he is not my husband. Why are men so afraid of a woman? Because I guess because they've been hurt by other women so much that they believe when they come in contact with a woman who is sincere, who is honest, who is true, they don't know how to receive that. And they feel that she's being, thinking she's better than anybody else. Or she thinks that she can get benefits without putting out something, so they say. Men do not take the time to get to know me because I always keep telling them I have a calling, I have a mission, and it is important to me. I cannot break my relationship with God to fulfill a man's needs unless he is my husband. I know that men have needs, women have needs as well. And you can only control those things when you allow God to control it for you. If the Spirit of God is leading you, you would try to understand where that other person is coming from and not try to get them to do things that are out of their norm. I know people a lot of time look at me and say, oh, she's not as perfect as she's pretending to be. No, not in my flesh. I'm not perfect. But Christ in me is perfect. And he is the one that strengthens me by the power of his spirit to be everything that I am. It is not me. I'll be the first to say that. And glory to God that I am a willing vessel to be kept by God. I heard a guy say that Christian women, when it comes to relationship, Christian women, when it comes to relationship, have few options, and he's right. We do. We have few options, so that means we will have to wait a little longer than most women when it comes to having a man in our lives or even getting married. But we have to ask ourselves, are we willing to take that chance? Are we willing to wait? Are we willing to be patient and wait upon God to place that right man into our lives? Because when the right man comes into our lives, then that means that he will respect the calling and the purpose that God has on our lives, and he will be willing to wait. And he will believe that A woman who has been waiting for her husband is a beautiful thing, and he will appreciate that. I believe that. There is nothing wrong with keeping yourself for that special husband who comes into your life. And that's what God has told me to do. And that's what I'm doing. So any man who cannot respect that, cannot deal with that, then they can move forward just as they always do. Because I'm not sacrificing or compromising my relationship with God. Because the one thing that I do know, I can live without a man, but I cannot and I will not live without God.